Well, you put the word Suzuki Swift and the number of people who log in is just simply phenomenal. That is the excitement level for this car right now in the Indian market. The desire is already there, so we've already seen the design of the Swift that will come to the Indian market, and this is what most of it will look like. I say most of it because I'm not sure if these are the kind of daytime running lights that Maruti will want to put on the car in the Indian market, or will they stick to something that looks more better like what they have on the Desire. In all likelihood that will be exclusive for the Desire because it's now being positioned as a more premium sedan in the sub 4 meter category. But as far as the hatchback goes, this is the Swift, and every time we look at it at different motor shows, we just wonder what is taking so long for the vehicle to come to the Indian shores. But as you all know, you all know, the Swift will come to the Indian market at the 2018 Auto Expo, which is scheduled to get underway in Delhi in the month of February, and that is when all the details will be clear. But we expect the same set of engines, the 1.2 petrol and the 1.3 diesel, to come to the Indian market. This car here comes with the all grip all-wheel drive technology for better grip, and that's from a safety standpoint more than a performance standpoint. Those are the tail lights. I'll give you a closer look. No LED elements in there, and in all likelihood that is how it will come to India as well. I'm told that the Swift won't be a Nexa product in India, though earlier I had personally tweeted that the Swift was likely to be a Nexa product, but I think the plans have changed. It will continue to sell through regular dealerships, and that is primarily because in the Nexa initiative, for the kind of service that they plan to offer, for the kind of services rather that they plan to offer for sales and after sales, they probably will not be able to cope up with the kind of demand that the Swift is going to have in the Indian market. And rightfully so. The Swift looks stunning. Enough of the exteriors. I'm just going to jump into the cabin now and show you what the interior looks like. There you go. Nice flat bottom steering wheel. Familiar instrumentation. Familiar AC vents. Familiar infotainment system. Familiar everything. But it looks nice and fresh. I like those colored inlays in there, and that is something I'm sure is going to come to the Indian Swift as well. The cabin looks very close to what you will see in the Indian Swift. I expect a similar black treatment for the upholstery and all the cabin elements. In fact, this could be the same pattern for the upholstery as well when it comes down to India. What you won't get are those heated seats, and of course they're not going to make much of a sense in the Indian market. That is what it looks like. We'll have a right hand drive version, of course. That could be the only difference in this cabin and the one that comes to India. Body colored inlays, I'm sure, are going to make it to the Indian model. Okay, now the big question is, so that is where the door handle goes. I went at the traditional placement of the door handle. That is how it looks on the side. Let me just show it to you again. It gives it a nice two-door effect. We have already seen a similar mechanism on the Beat. So this is how you open the rear door. Now, space at the back is still going to be a squeeze in the Swift. It's always been the problem for the Swift, and it's still going to be a problem even when this car comes to the Indian market. The Desire, it gave us a lot of space, but this one, I think it's going to be a bit of a squeeze, but that is something that I'll comment on when the India spec model actually comes and I drive it for a good long distance. You get integrated headrests at the back. Not a great feature really, but they're nice and tall, so I think shouldn't be much of a problem. The seating looks a little upright. I'm going to try and sit in here. Can the rear seat 3? Well, only 2 headrests, so I'm not going to recommend it for 3 adults from a safety standpoint. I would rather say that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do since most of you are logged in. See the boot. Well, the boot not very deep. I don't think it's a big improvement over the outgoing car in terms of boot space. And you still get that trademark lamp down at the bottom. Quite a flat profile for the rear of the Swift. I'll show it to you from the side. There you go, quite a flat profile, quite like the Baleno. I like those alloy wheels, I like those little red accents on them. They could have done better than this. Integrating the lamps in the wing mirrors would have been a better idea. This looks a little too old school now. Those headlamps are what you will see on the base variants of the Swift, and maybe even on the top end. Maybe the top end will have DRLs just like what you see here. That's the honeycomb grille, body colored accents on it as well. Okay, so don't go away just yet, because I'm going to show you something more. Remember the Ignis? This is with a body kit and everything. Looks quite good, but that is not what I am going to show you. Neither am I going to show you this Ignis. I am moving towards this. Come on, let me see those hearts flying. Let me see those likes flying. There you go. There you go. Big wave of hearts and likes coming towards this car. I hope someone at Maruti Suzuki, some big decision makers at Maruti Suzuki are sitting right now and seeing this, because that's always been the sentiment towards the Swift Sport, and it's never come to India. People love the Swift for what it is. People think of it as a sporty premium hatchback, and this would just be the icing on the cake. And this is something that should definitely come to India. This is the Swift Sport. I don't have to move around too much. The car is turning on its own, rather the show floor is turning on its own. Now these headlamps are quite similar to what we have seen on the Desire. There you go. The DRL is integrated right into the headlamp assembly. That looks much smarter. And even if Maruti weren't going to offer it on the Swift, I'm sure that you guys will be able to pick them up from the Desire and put it into your Swift. But yeah, that's a thing for after the car launches. There you go. So I'm now going to try and show you the cabin. There. Even this has red accents, but if you look closely, look at that detailing. It just looks so nice. Red stitching, mandatory on anything that has a sporty intent these days. Flat bottom steering wheel again. Upholstery is fabric with the sport badging on it, and I like the upholstery. I like the detailing there as well. There's a bit of a gradient effect on that panel there. It begins with the black, ends in that maroon pattern. And here, the vents are a little different. I like the little display within the vent. It'll give you a nice readout for the temperature that you're setting. I like that display. I hope it makes it to the Indian version as well. Well, that is the cabin for you then. I'll show you the instrumentation from the other side. That is the Swift Sport badging, and check that out.
I'm not a big fan of this particular finish. I don't like that finish much, but it looks good on the Swift somehow. Those twin tailpipes, again a trademark design for the Swift Sport, and those alloy wheels. The pedal pattern looks good. Sporty pedals as well. Those are the clocks. The tacho has a nice red fascia in there. Oh, that's the boost. It'll show you the level of boost from its turbocharged engine. And speaking of the engine, this car is powered by a 1.4 litre turbo petrol. Puts out about 130 PS of power, 130, and so 140 PS of power, not 130, 140 PS of power, 1.4 litre engine, and 230 Newton meters of torque. Now I don't have access to the 0 to 100 figures for this car, but you should head over to the Overdrive website right now. Everything has been posted about this vehicle on the Overdrive website with a lot of photographs as well. Okay, so I'm going to pause here right now. I'm going to quickly go through the comments because I can see there are a lot of comments that have been posted on this. So till you guys see the car, I'm just going to quickly go to the comments. Okay, a lot of you are asking about the possibility of the Swift Sport coming to India. I'm not very sure, but then you don't know because Maruti was quick enough to launch the Baleno RS in the Indian market. It was a nice move, and I really hope that they do something similar with the Swift Sport as well. Not sure about the 1.4 litre engine, but maybe the 1.0, the 1 litre engine could make its way into the Swift as well. The same one that powers the Baleno RS. Is that wooden putty on the dashboard? No, the wooden putty on the dashboard is gone yet. I'm so heartbroken. There's a red putty now. That yellow looks stunning. Yes, the yellow has always been the signature shade for the Swift Sport, and it really, really looks good. AMT, I'm not sure about the AMT right now, but yeah, they already have the AMT for the 1.2 and the 1.3, and I believe that with the AMT catching on so well in the Indian market, the regular Swift of course will come with the AMT, and like the Dzire, it should be available with both the petrol and the diesel engines. Is the Dzire having more rear seat space compared to the Swift? Yes, it does. It has a longer wheelbase than the regular Swift, and that has enabled it to have better rear leg room. Expected launching date. I think you're talking about the regular Swift, which I showed you a little while back, the red color car. The expected launching date is, I think, somewhere around the Auto Expo. That is when they're going to show the car to the Indian audience. That's in February 2018. So expect the launch to be somewhere around that. Maybe a little before the Auto Expo unveil, they might open up bookings, or maybe at the Auto Expo they might open up bookings, and the delivery should start sometime in March or April is what I believe. This is what I've heard so far. Can the rear seat take 3 people? Like I said, no, it's got head restraints only for 2 adults, so I won't say 3 adults should sit at the back. 2 adults and a kid, yes, why not? New India version, Dilip, yes, the Indian version will be very similar to the Red Swift that I showed you. In fact, I am going to go back to the Red Swift now. Why so hesitant to offer the sunroof in India? Well, true. Sunroofs, I don't know if they really make any sense for the dusty and the sunny conditions, or not the sunny, the really hot conditions back in our country. So I'm not personally a big fan of the sunroof in the Indian market. Plus, unfortunately, most of our people don't know how to use sunroofs properly. Most of them use it for hazardous things like letting their children stick their heads out of the sunroof, which I am totally against. This is back to the Red Swift, and Akhil, the price expected to be slightly more pricier than the outgoing Swift, but maybe a little cheaper for the base variants now, because It's using the same engines, so I believe Maruti will be able to get a slightly better starting price for the Swift in the Indian market than the current Swift. But you never know what strategies they're planning, because like we've seen on most new Maruti Suzuki cars, I believe that the basic safety kit of ABS and airbags should be common across the range. So that could bump up the starting price of the car a bit. So we'll wait and watch. Everything will be clear sometime around the first quarter of 2018. What other comments do we have? Rear could have been better. I agree. I think the platform sharing with the Baleno has had its restrictions on how the design could have been different, could have been better. But yeah, the Swift, the overall shape remains largely the same, apart from the slightly flatter profile for the rear end. And that's a shape that has been loved all over the world for the Swift. And that is why for the past 3 generations of the Swift now, we have seen the shape being virtually unchanged. Looks like a Datsun. I wouldn't disagree with you there, especially those rear haunches, this communication color and the shape of those tail lights. Yes, this rear part does remind one of the Datsun Go. Looks longer and better than before. Yes, design is a personal preference, so I believe some people will like it, some people won't, some people expected something more. So that is what it is, the Swift and the Swift Sport. I've shown it to you in detail, and just before I leave, one quick glance at the S-Cross. This is the facelifted model. The big change is that large grille and those headlamps. That's the new S-Cross. It's set to launch in the Indian market very soon, somewhere around mid-October. It will remain an extra product, and guess what, we will be driving that car sometime by the end of this month. So we will get you our driving impressions, though I don't think it will be very different than the outgoing model, because this is mainly a facelift. The engine options, the mechanicals, everything is expected to remain the same. So this is the S-Cross, and I guess because I got a few likes and hearts when I was crossing the Ignis, it's only natural that I should quickly just walk around the kitted out Ignis as well, so that those of you who are interested could just quickly take a look. There's some body cladding there. There's a nice rack at the top. And I really like those reflector elements which are missing on the Indian Ignis. That is what makes the bumper of the Indian Ignis, the rear bumper of the Indian Ignis, look so drab. This could have helped offset that bulk of the black cladding. Here's another one, black alloys, a few decals here and there. Arvind, I'm so sorry, I forgot to show you the rear seat again. I'm going to check on the rear AC vents. There we go, back to the Swift. Nope, no rear AC vents. I hope the Indian model gets it, but I doubt it, for the kind of space that the rear seat has. If it's going to be targeted towards the nuclear families, I'm not sure if the rear AC vents are going to come in. So yeah, Arvind, sorry, no AC vents, no rear AC vents in the Swift. So we'll end it with a final glimpse at the Swift Sport that all of you like so much. That is what it is. And that's it from me at the Suzuki exhibit. Do stay tuned to Overdrive though. I'm going to now move over to the Honda exhibit again. I'm going to see if the network works. If the network works, I will show you the new CR-V and what you could expect from it if at all it comes to the Indian market. And that is the Jimny, the little Jimny.